10XL 92.5 FM.
Oh, yes! And those are the memories that make me a wealthy soul. I am feeling grief. Perhaps hypertension. And I'm just trying to figure it all out. Settle down, peeps. Settle down. I'm going to give you a big dose of vocal Valium. All right? Relax. Relax, 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 relax. Overdoing it on ETN, overdoing it on Lloyd. Understand where you're coming from, but again, let me provide you with a large dosage of it right now. Just calm down, okay? And we're going to absolutely dive into it, but I want to begin with this because it's such a phenomenal time of year. And some of you are right now on a downslide, a big part of a depression, which I'm going to do my best to try to get you through, okay? This is a really unusual time of year. All this talk of football, right? And we get into memories. And, you know, when for the time you're a little kid and, you know, what do you want to be when you grow up? Well, you want to be like your dad, right? You want to be a president or the president of the United States. Or you want to be a pro football player, right? You get a little bit older, then you start dreaming of the chick you know you'll never land. And then you settle in, you know, okay, this is me. This is what I got. Here's the education I'm going after. Here is realistically where I expect to be in 2, 5, 10, 20, 50 years, right? But one thing that I knew I did a tremendous amount of growing up was fantasizing about being the guy with the game on the line. And if you look at free agency right now in football, golf, with everything beginning Thursday morning, you got Florida State, Florida in baseball tonight. You got the World Baseball Classic and obviously the beginning of the Major League Baseball season just a couple of weeks away. You've got conference tournaments ongoing, a couple of tickets punched on Monday night. Okay, more tonight. And then, of course, my favorite sport, the National Hockey League continues, scoring an overtime goal. So I figured we'd have just a little bit of fun, even if I'm doing this to somewhat distract those of you who are uptight about ETN and Lloyd. Let's have a good time with it. So you can do one thing. What would it be? Pick six. You know, punt return for a TD in front of 70,000 plus or whatever it is. How about golf? How about leaving it a few feet away from the cup, going to the right side of the cup, like David Duval, the native son in Duval, to win that tournament? I still believe he was the only golfer in red figures, and the walk-up 18. Whether it be here, the Masters, or anywhere else. What about a walk-off? What about just guessing on a slider and you get it middle in and you just turn on it? You know, you turn the hips, you take the step, everything's changed as far as the way mechanically you are as a hitter. When I was playing, you get to the front of the box, try to, you know, catch the curveball, and you slid with your front foot as a right-handed hitter, my left foot. Now, of course, you lift it and extend it, and they say that you're going to generate more power that way. Game-winning hoop. We saw Jordan do it as a freshman, right? We saw Marcus Smart do it when, Indiana beat Syracuse, and he called bucket. There's been so many. I mean, no doubt about it. Or that overtime goal. And none of this 3-on-3 crap, which was a lot of fun to watch with Jack Hughes and everything that happened during the Olympic Games. But once you get into the NHL, playoffs, they do sudden death wise. And it's 5-on-5. For me, there's without even any hesitation, it would be hockey. That's me. I think the older I've gotten, I'm putting a little bit more thought into golf. Okay, because that's just it has to be such an incredible feeling. Where, let's face it, you can have your swing coach, your putting coach, your masseur, your chef, your shrink. You can have everyone in the world, your caddy with you, but it's still you against Mother Nature, most importantly, especially if the wind is doing its part. So why don't we begin with that? We'll stop right there, except for your opportunity to do that on social media. I just figured since every sport is really being identified right now, even football, even though they're not playing games, obviously that's still number one in all of sports with the signings that we've seen, a lot of signings we have not seen. That includes Trey Hendrickson. We'll continue to talk about that. As a matter of fact, Ryan O'Halloran's going to join us here in just a little bit. I will certainly ask Ryan about that. So if you want to get in as to what you would choose, 641-1010 on the text line. That is brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. Or you can also join us on YouTube tonight. Just go to 1010XL into the night. All right. Devin Lloyd doesn't get what he wants. He gets $25 million guaranteed. Word around is he was expecting $20 million a season. Instead, he gets 3 years, $45 million for a football player that did some really good things this year. Okay? For starters, here's what I would like to know. What was Jacksonville's offer? I don't think they just told him to walk. I got to believe they presented something to his agency and said, listen, we're strapped for cash. This is what we can do. And, forever we've sat around here and talked about after quarterbacks. What is the most important position on the football field after a quarterback? And you can have, to me, this is a healthy six-pack argument. I think it's left tackle would be number 2 for me. Number 3 for me would be a solid pass rush end, right? Number 4 for me would be a shutdown corner. Number 5 for me would probably be a right tackle, okay? And then you go to the interior defensive line. I haven't even mentioned the divas. I haven't even mentioned the individuals who upset just about every team in college and pro because of the way that they're wired, right? I'm talking about wide receivers. They're just a different breed. They really are. I can't explain it. There's nothing like them in sports. Not in baseball, maybe in the NBA a little bit. And there's hotheads in baseball. Hockey, I think, is such an incredible team game. But, where do you put wide receivers? You may put it over a right tackle, and that's fine. Well, where do you put an off-the-ball linebacker? Where's that priority position-wise? I mean, I told you time and time again that I didn't think ETN would return because I don't believe the running back position is really valued. Is the same said now for an outside linebacker? And he's going to a 3-4 defensive scheme. And I know they spent a ton of money, and they went out and got Jalen Phillips, who's 27 years of age. I mean, the amount of money they gave him is obscene, in my opinion. 28 sacks in 5 years. Yet Carolina's trying to redefine their defense. And Ejiro Evero, is a guy who plays a 3-4. So what does that mean for Devin Lloyd? Everyone's talked about 3 years, $45 million. He's going from a team that has an opportunity to go deep into the playoffs to what I think is still a bottom feeder club in Carolina, albeit I'm aware of what they did during the second half of the season, and it was actually, pretty good. It reminds me of the Jaguars in Trevor Lawrence's second year. They really got hot towards the end of the season, and I don't like saying this. I don't, but I believe it. He could be a major bust. He could. I don't know what the style is going to be. I don't know how they're going to employ him. I don't know if they're going to have him dropping coverage. I don't know if they're going to have him blitz. I don't know if he's going to be an outside linebacker who just trusts his instincts the way he did here. Could they possibly move him inside? I would be surprised if they were to do that. But again, their base defense is 3-4. And reading a bunch of stuff, do you realize that last season, as good as Devin Lloyd was, he only played 54% of the time on third and fourth down? Think about that. Now, in a lot of third and fourth downs, you're automatically in a nickel, so one backer comes out. In some of these situations, you're in a dime. So you're really only going to have one linebacker. And for the most part, that was Foye Oluokun, who just about never came off the field. Still, 73% of the snaps was his percentage a year ago. Now, did that mean that even though he was being recognized as player of the week, player of the month, and everything else, that still, when push came to shove, they had more faith in Oluokun on third down and in fourth down? It's just something that has been discussed. It's something that has been talked about. And I think the bottom line is this: Lloyd and his people, they valued themselves a heck of a lot more than the Jaguars did, and a heck of a lot more than the NFL did, because he got underpaid. He's only getting $25 million guaranteed, which is phenomenal money for you and me. But I'm sure there's a disappointment with him today. He's never going to come out and say it, right? I mean, he's signing a new deal, but I'm sure he expected $20 million a year. And, you know, I know it's hard to relate. It is for you. It is for me, because this is almost funny money. And whether it's $20 million a year or $15 million a year, I mean, that's more money than any of us could spend. I don't know. You hear years later that guys have run out of money. There's so many people in their inner circle. They get taxed to death. They have agency, amount of money that has to be paid out. Obviously, their spending goes way up. You got hangers on from every angle that all of a sudden now want to be a part of your group. And it's always you who's picking up the tab. I mean, it's dangerous. It really is. I mean, the one thing good about living, whether it's paycheck to paycheck or living, more comfortably than that, is you know your limits, you know your budget, right? You have an understanding every week, every month, where you're at, where you're going to be. I don't know if that applies. I've heard the horror stories. I mean, read our colleague Leon Searcy's book. I read it. It was incredible what Leon did when he was smack dab in the middle of it. I mean, again, read the book. It's really good by Leon Searcy. But, it takes you to a point where you're like, how did this happen? How did he lose all that cash? And sure enough, it did take place. So I know a lot of you are uptight. I'm just trying to settle you down a little bit. Devin Lloyd around here played 3 seasons and was average. Very, very, very average. He upped his play last season. To me, it's always a risk when you up your play during a contract year. Said the same thing about Kenneth Walker III. I mean, you look at the deal that he signed in Kansas City. Now, maybe the fact that Pat Mahomes is there and Andy Reid is there will be enough to get to him. But wouldn't you be a little bit alarmed? And, CBS Sports had Walker coming here. And I was like, hell no. You really want to bring in a running back who just won a Super Bowl and just got paid, had the best game of his career, the only time all season long he went more than 20 carries. And now you're going to pay him after receiving the ring and expect the same production here? To me, that's scary. It just is. And I think the same can be said here now for Devin Lloyd. For Travis Etienne, I think he'll be fine. I don't know if the Saints will be. Again, they got a very young quarterback, and they've had quite a turnover there in New Orleans. I still think Etienne will put together around the same numbers. Okay. and he's going to be playing in his hometown. Really don't know what to expect here with Devin Lloyd, and only time will tell. But I know you want to chime in on this, and we're going to give you that opportunity as we do move forward during the program. All right, Ryan O'Halloran's going to join us at 6:36, and we're going to talk to O'Halloran about the moves that were made yesterday. Yeah, I read this last night as well. There's only 4 teams, and this was as of this morning. It may have changed, and I missed it. But there's only 4 teams who have not brought in from another organization a free agent. Jacksonville, Philadelphia, Denver, and Seattle. Now, again, for Philly, Denver, and Seattle, they could have brought one in this afternoon, and I've missed it. All right? All 4 of those teams won at least 11 games a year ago. It made it to the playoffs a year ago. So what does that say about free agency? Now, you can make the point, well, look at what the Jaguars did last year. They brought in 13, 14 free agents. I got it. And you're correct. They did. They had to have a total facelift. They had to go through a complete culture change in order to get rid of the stink. And let's face it, the 2024 season, I've been doing this forever. I'd never seen anything like it where there was a flat-out acceptance of losing in 2024. Players accepted it. They did not. You could feel the difference. As someone that covers 5-6 road games a year, you could feel the difference after those devastating losses. I was in Cincinnati. I was in Houston. Compared to a year ago, wow. Let me tell you, that was literally night and day. So we got a lot to do tonight, and, we'll go through everything. There's rumors out there. Some may have legs. Others, I think, are meaningless. I haven't even talked about the Brian Thomas Jr. deal. We didn't even get into it. I didn't even give it any airtime because I just don't believe it's going to happen. Now, I could take a 2x4 across the forehead and a deal could get done. I just don't see it. We'll ask Ryan O'Halloran about that. Again, that's coming up in about 20 minutes. All right, let's be simple. Let's keep it straight forward ahead. Shmunez Vision. Stop delaying an appointment, all right? Make one today. Go to Shmunez Vision. They're the best in the business. They'll get you right in. They'll answer all your questions. They're not going to take you around all this fancy equipment and add on. It's like a mechanic, right? You take in, it's like, well, this and that. That's been heating up, and that'll run you. And, that's outside of John's mechanic, right? Who's outstanding. John's Automotive on Arlington Road. But the same could be with the dentist. You don't know what's going on. You don't know anything about your eyes. I don't know anything about my eyes. When they tell you need to go to this new high-quality piece of machinery, and then you see it on the bill, it's like, what's up? Well, guess what? They have all that machinery at Shmunez Vision, but you may not need it. That's my point. They're looking out for you, and they're trying to give you the best value that they can. Shmunez Vision online, also Instagram. You can go to Shmunez Vision, get all the testimonials as well. All right, it's going to be a great night here in Jacksonville. We're just barely underway. My name is Rick Ballou, and we call this Into the Night.
It's golf's biggest stage this side of the majors, and 1010XL has you inside the ropes.
Get live Southeast Orthopedic Specialist leaderboard updates.
Teed up by Surfside Pools, San Jose Collision, and Lucas Tree Service.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
Tired of changing out bad sod year after year? Get it done right with Roundtree Sod. Big or small, they have it, and always supplied farm fresh. For a lush, legendary green lawn, call 7414-SOD for a free estimate. 7414-SOD.
Checkmate. I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, Checkmate's mascot and brand ambassador.
Why do you even talk in these ads?
People see me on the trucks, Brendan, so they expect to hear from me as well.
But I have over a decade's experience personally installing high-quality polymer floors right here in Jacksonville.
Well, I'm a professional mascot, riding around on the side of your trucks, smiling at passers-by.
Then could you at least tell people about our 2-stage polymer application process? Give your garage the finishing touch with a gorgeous floor that's guaranteed to last?
A bit busy posing for selfies, I'm afraid.
Years of experience?
Check. Adorable mascot?
Check. The team you need to make your garage gorgeous? Checkmate!
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit checkmatecoatings.com. That's checkmatecoatings.com.
Enhance your player's experience with Fantasy Golf. If your golfers score the lowest at TPC Sawgrass, you could win $1,000 of jewelry from Beard's Diamonds. Enter at 1010XL.com.
Nailed down by
Endless Summer Roofing.
Ahead, we build platforms for digital business. We help create your platform for digital business by weaving together advances in cloud infrastructure, intelligent operations, and modern applications. Digital business is comprised of 5 pillars. We call them imperatives because they're a must-have, not a nice-to-have. We enterprise cloud, integrated security, scaled DevOps, intelligent operations, and relentless automation. Need help with digital transformation? Ahead. Learn, grow, achieve.
Best Bet poker fans, the stakes are high this month as Best Bet dishes out over $700,000 between Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine's poker rooms. Feeling lucky? How about daily high hands, weekend winnings every Friday and Saturday, and go for the green on St. Patrick's Day, where a royal flush in clubs wins up to $5,000. See all the details at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Here's hoping for a Raise the Roof football season. And here's knowing Next Gen Roofing is up for any job. Game day or storm season, you need a team you can trust. And you know what? You don't need a glitzy roofing company. No shortcuts, no gimmicks, no nonsense. Solid roofs at competitive prices and a commitment to the First Coast community. Right now, save up to $300 on your next roof replacement. When you need a roof, you need Next Gen Roofing. Team with you, it's a win every time.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too. From Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Welcome to Key Buick GMC, proudly family-owned and operated since 1943. Come see why they're North Florida's new and pre-owned truck center, conveniently located on Southside and JTB, just minutes from the St. John's Town Center. At Key Buick GMC, every new vehicle comes with our lifetime powertrain warranty. Key Buick GMC, we are professional grade. Online at keybuickgmc.com. Lifetime powertrain warranty covers engine, transmission, drivetrain only. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Work it, make it, do it. Makes us harder, better, faster, stronger.
Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Tonight's show brought to you by the Alexander Law Practice. I'm going to tell you much more about them in just a couple of minutes. But the 0406 says, Ballou, I love you, but you cannot mention Marcus Smart in the same breath as Jordan. I meant to say Keith Smart at Indiana. Remember the baseline J? And the reason why I came up with his, same side of the floor as Jordan's. Now, Jordan's was a little bit more, towards the wing, but Smart was a straight baseline jumper to beat Syracuse back in 1987. And Bob Knight got yet another national championship. But yes, I didn't mean to compare anyone to the great one, Michael Jordan. I was just talking about game-winning shots. And some people are coming in picking basketball, which is actually a little bit of a surprise to me. I thought in this football-only town, most of you would go with football. What's this? 40-42 Gladstone is trash? Are you kidding me? I mean, you people stay away from sharp objects, and if you're going with substance or alcohol, whatever it is, don't drive. Crying out loud! How can you be this down on this man after what he did a year ago? What he did in the very first season? I mean, improving 50% plus of this roster. Hey, there's always going to be some out there. What is it? I never take questions this early. Hey, Rick, I think you should talk about dropping the PGA as a major and adding TPC. Former superintendent, always the worst of the four majors. Drop the PGA championship for the players. You know, what I think hurts the players is that it's the same course every year. And you have that next month with the Masters, right? And I know that it's a small circle of, I almost said tracks. That would have been awful. A small circle of courses that do host, obviously, the British Open. And, the U.S. Open rotates, albeit it's tough to get in that rotation. Same with the PGA Championship. I wonder if that's a sticking point. There's others who have also believed that, with everything on the line, you've got a gimmick hole at 17. Now, I'm a lover of 17. But coming down the stretch to win a major, you put some grass on an island in the middle of a pond with the tournament on the line. I mean, again, what you hear publicly and what you hear privately is typically two totally different things. I'm fine with it. Others, no. And I haven't even heard that anymore. I mean, I haven't even heard that in years and years and years. I tell you what else I'm not hearing anymore. Wish this tournament was still in May. I used to be the ringleader for that because I was all about sundresses, and you were guaranteed to get them in May. I mean, it's been, 82, 83 today? It was absolutely spectacular. I never really looked that far ahead. I was told some cold is coming. I don't know if, in fact, that is the case. But if you're out there today, I'm sure you enjoyed it. If you're getting out there again tomorrow, I know I'm going out tomorrow. Looking forward to that as well. Okay. We're going to talk to Ryan O'Halloran about this coming up momentarily. The Jaguars continue to create money by restructuring contracts, and they did that with Robert Hainsey. They took $5 million of his 2026 salary, put it into a signing bonus. They cleared $4 million. Yesterday they cleared $6.1 million with Jordan Lewis. Over the weekend, they cleared $3.36 million with Eric Murray, and they cleared $7.36 million with Patrick McCarry. The Jaguars right now sit at $4,138,000 under the cap. They're going to have to pay their rookie class. A lot of people are like, well, they don't have money. They can't make this move. They can't make this move. Well, they can afford to make a move. Here's reality. They're not going to, let's say they elect to cut Chuma Edoga and bring back $2.8 million. Let's say they elect to restructure Josh Hines Allen and create $6 to $8 million. Let's say they decide to restructure Foye Oluokun and create $6-7 million. They're not going to do it right now unless they have to. You understand my point? There's no reason to do these contracts in this way to add void years, but also add money to the end of the contract unless you are going to sign a player. My guess right now would be this. The guys that I just mentioned, outside of Edoga, because he would be let go, but certainly when you go to Hines Allen or you go to Oluokun, the conversation has been made to the agents that if we sign another player, we need to free up some cash. Can I give you the salary and a signing bonus, and again, extend it at the end of the deal? And that conversation obviously is taking place, has taken place, but will only come into fruition if, in fact, they turn around, sign a veteran running back, sign a veteran defensive tackle. If they were to make a big splash and get a guy like Trey Hendrickson, who I'm going to talk to Ryan O'Halloran about right now. He's 31. He's coming off an injury, 7 years. He expected $30 million a year. He didn't get it. So he's 31 and he's coming off an injury. How much are you going to pay Hendrickson? The name is staggering. I mean, no one had more sacks than him from 2023 through 2024. He had 35 sacks. He had 17 and a half in 2024. He was banged up last year. So that's been tossed around a little bit. As far as the Brian Thomas Jr. rumors, I haven't even addressed them. I've been part of the belief that he's not going anywhere. And now, if I'm wrong and they trade him, I'm wrong. I'll get over it. I'll live through that. I just can't see where it makes any sense at all, value-wise, and certainly financially speaking, where he's only got $4.9 million left on his rookie deal. I mean, you're basically paying him $2.5 million a year. Less than $2.5 million a year. I mean, it's 4.9 over the next 2 years. So all of this coming up with our good friend Ryan O'Halloran. We'll break all this down, and then we'll get to you. We got a lot to do right here on this Monday. All right, tonight's show brought to you by the Alexander Law Practice. There's never a retainer fee at the Alexander Law Firm, okay? A lot of you may be intimidated to pick up the phone and make a call because you think, I'm going to get charged. They're going to charge me for the phone call. They're going to charge me for the consultation. No, you're never out of pocket. So get that right now and make sure you understand that you're not going to be charged, okay? It's a very small list of clients with Rick Alexander, who's been doing this for well over 30 years. The reason why he changed and went here is because he's old school. He likes to get his hands dirty and get into it with every single one of his clients. You're going to have that personal relationship with Rick Alexander, okay? So if you've been beaten up in a car accident, if your car is totaled, if you're physically injured, if anything along these lines have happened to you, a family member, a friend, take down the name Alexander Law Practice. Get to them today. Best way to do it is right there at Alexander Law Practice online. You can also place a phone call at 400-6600. You're going to get an immediate call back. And what Rick Alexander is going to do is put together a personal package that is best for you. And it'll end up being very prosperous when it's all said and done. Please, Alexander Law Practice. That is your best bet. When we do return, let's bring in the columnist of the Florida Times Union. The Jags have re-signed a couple of their own. They also have lost now 3 players. It was reported earlier this morning that Greg Newsome is going to make $10 million with the New York Giants. So he becomes the 3rd free agent to leave next to Etienne and Lloyd. We'll cover all of this and what O'Halloran believes could be next for the Jaguars, whether it's tonight, tomorrow, or you let the market really settle and it becomes part of the second wave. We'll dive into that on the other side.
Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
The Players' Championship returns to TPC Sawgrass March 10th through 15th. Experience golf's most iconic stage with enhanced food and beverage offerings, interactive fan attractions, and an atmosphere built for every type of fan. See the best players in the world, including world #1 Scotty Scheffler, 2025 champion Rory McIlroy, and fan favorite Brooks Koepka take on the legendary Stadium Course and the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com.
Picken here. See clearly with the Eye Associates and trusted optometrists Zachary Boskool and Alice LaFlamme. From comprehensive eye exams, dry eye care, glaucoma management, diabetic eye care, and more, Dr. Boskool and Dr. LaFlamme are dedicated to protecting your vision. Immediate availability at all 5 Jacksonville locations. Schedule today with Dr. Boskool and Dr. LaFlamme by calling the Eye Associates, formerly Bowden Associates, Schneider Eye and Wellness Center, and Janet Betchkel, MD at 296-0098.
I used to dread going to the dentist. Every visit felt like a sales pitch with constant upselling, surprise fees on my bill, and I could never get in when I needed to. But Harbor Dental Care? Totally different. They saw me the next day, gave me honest pricing up front, and even set me up with a payment plan I could actually afford. No pressure, no surprise charges, just kind people who get it. If you want to experience dentistry the way it should be, book your appointment today at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
You want a new fence, but you don't want the hassle. That's why there's Superior Fence and Rail. They're the best in town, offering lightning-fast one-day installations, plus a lifetime labor warranty for total peace of mind. And here's the best part. Book by March 17th, and they'll take down and haul away your old fence for free, up to a $500 value. So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail today.
SuperiorFenceandRail.com. Ready to put your dream car in drive? Get solid rates for the road ahead when you finance with First Florida Credit Union. Enjoy competitive low rates, up to 90 days of no payments and budget-friendly protection plans. Whether you're buying a vehicle or refinancing, stop by a branch or apply online at firstflorida.org/autoloans. Membership eligibility required. Interest accrues during loan payment deferral period. Federally insured by NCUA. Visit firstflorida.org/autoloans.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
The price of gold is soaring, and the price of silver is near record highs. If you've got gold or silver just laying around, Estates Roadshow wants it. Broken chains, old rings, coins, watches, diamonds, vintage jewelry. If it's valuable, they're buying it. No appointment needed. Just walk in, get a free appraisal, and walk out with cash. They're also buying pre-1964 silver coins, flatware, sterling silverware stamped 925. They're buying coin collections, gold, silver, foreign, and domestic. Plus, they've been in business over 35 years with thousands of prior happy customers. Licensed, bonded, state-certified scales, highest tech equipment, employees with GIA certifications. Begin gathering your valuables because the Estates Roadshow is coming back to the First Coast, March 16th through March 20th. St. Augustine at World Golf Renaissance and Palm Coast at the Holiday Inn Express. For more information, call Marshall at 609-781-6559 or go to estatesroadshow.com and follow Estates Roadshow on Facebook to see all upcoming events.
All right, Jacksonville, Florida summer doesn't ease in. It shows up angry. One day you're fine, the next day your AC is fighting for its life. If your unit barely survived last year, don't push your luck. Make the smart move now. Call Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. Honest pricing, no surprise markups. With the Beat the Heat early special, you can save $500 off a new AC system. Don't wait till it's 98 degrees and everyone's scrambling. Call for your free in-home estimate today. 904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Here's another call on the 1010XL hotline, driven by Key Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
All right, Ryan O'Halloran, our guest, each and every Tuesday night. He joins us right here on your home of the Jags. Of course, Ryan's busy covering hoops, covering golf. Also covers the Jacksonville Jaguars as the columnist with the Florida Times Union. Ryan, how are you?
I'm good, Rick. And it's usually you would say the players the same week as free agency isn't a good recipe, but this has worked out fine.
Well, I remember when it was in May, I don't know if you were in town because everything to me is a mirage, but we were above 17 covering golf when word came in that Dante Fowler tore up his knee during rookie minicamp.
Yep, I was here for that, and that's when me and Hayes were like, Hayes was like, I'll cover the practice, nothing happens, then I'll go to golf. Well, something did happen. And sort of summed up that era of Jaguar football.
No doubt about it. All right, we got a lot to cover. Let's get straight to it. We talked about it a week ago, and it's, exactly what they do, re-sign their own players. Let's begin with Buster Brown. And is it fair? Listen, I get asked all the time about hometown discounts, and I basically laugh at that, but is it fair to say he could have made more money elsewhere?
I think that's true, and he probably had offers on the table stating that. His camp probably heard that at the combine. But the no state income tax, I think that has a lot to do with it in terms of the actual real cash. But I like the loyalty a little bit. He's a 7th round pick. They gave him a chance. And he took advantage of it. So, and I think it was a key signing, and that made the week for the Jaguars, because if they don't re-sign him, now they're looking for a number 1 or 1A corner.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think that really affects things moving forward. The draft, we'll see what they do with defensive tackle here in free agency, but the draft's in 44 days. No way a corner now at 56. To me, that has to be a defensive tackle, maybe an off-the-ball linebacker, but just your thoughts there as well.
Yeah, and I would also throw edge as a possibility. We can get to Hendrickson in a second. It's got to be a big guy on defense, and which would allow them to move on from Armstead and put him as a post-June 1, and that creates some cap space for the summer, which you then can use or push forward. So, it's from what you've heard and what these pundits have said is the sweet spot for these defensive tackles is round 2 and 3. Well, that's the Jaguars' sweet spot with 4 picks. If they can find a guy who has a little bit of a potential for a pass rush, then that would be an ideal choice, because at this point, he's drafted defensive tackle. You expect him to be good against the run.
Dennis Gardeck, I think here's a guy that's only going to get better. He played, I thought, much better later in the season than when he first got here. He made $2 million a year ago, gets a nice raise, $12 million over the next 2 years, and he can do a lot of things for Anthony Campanelli.
He can, and it's just a matter of him getting the opportunity. And when they finally said at midseason, okay, our edge rushers, they're not getting there, we got to put Gardeck there and give him a shot. He created some pressure, so he plays special teams. He can play the base linebacker spot, and then he can also be a situational pass rusher. And really, it's a nod to the front office last year, the scouts, personnel guys who identified somebody coming off an ACL, were patient with, and then he ended up, getting a pretty good raise, as you said. So a good player, and it's somebody who really fits into what they do.
Ryan O'Halloran, our guest, columnist with the Florida Times-Union. All right, we both thought that Etienne and Lloyd would not return. They would outprice the market. For Lloyd, he doesn't get what he wants. I mean, he gets $25 million guaranteed, 3 years, $45 million in Carolina. I'd like to know what Jacksonville offered him, or did they absolutely offer him? What's your understanding?
Yeah, that's probably the second question. Is probably the one I'm more interested in. Is okay? Did you even make an offer? You just didn't hear like there was any traction on the Lloyd front. And sometimes we're guilty of reading body language the wrong way. The day after the season, Devin Lloyd was morose. I mean, he knew he had played his last game as a Jaguar. And whereas Travis Etienne, he said, hey, I look forward to seeing what happens. I don't want to play in the North. Well, he cut out half the teams then. We end up in New Orleans. So I think they had some conversation with the Etienne, basically saying, hey, if the market doesn't develop to your liking, we'll keep this door open. But obviously he found it. He found a great contract in New Orleans.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think two really good young men. You're correct with Lloyd, though. It just felt different with him. Now he goes to a 3-4 style defense in Carolina. I have my reservations here. We could be midway through the season talking about how Devin Lloyd ended up being one of the colossal busts in free agency this year.
Yeah, and the reason the Jaguars weren't going to go to that price is he played 70% of the snaps, and to me that was okay. That's not a $15 million a year player. Now he's going into a 3-4. Okay, is he an on the ball edge guy, outside linebacker? To me, it's going to be interesting to see how he's used in Carolina, and because you got Jalen Phillips, they paid him a ton of money. Well, how does he fit at defensive end? So a lot more. I think Carolina created some questions with their moves yesterday. It includes Devin Lloyd.
All right, what's next? Let's begin with Trey Hendrickson. I'm actually surprised that this is still out there. He's 31. He's coming off an injury. Apparently, Jacksonville is one of the few teams that is bidding for his services. What is your understanding?
Well, that was a heck of a tweet today. I wish I could remember who put it out there, that his asking price is about $10 million different than what the market is. I have never heard of a gap that big. And so I mean, are you thinking 30 to 20? Okay, let's use that as a working number. The Jaguars would have to get creative. I think he'd be, even though he's coming off an injury at age 31, if the Jaguars are confident that he can give them 2 great years, it's probably worth it. They'd have to really, add some dummy Boyd years at the end. Okay, elsewhere, I still think they got an off-the-ball linebacker. I still think they have to think about safety, because right now Caleb Branshaw has never played a game, and he's a starter. So, so I think what they're going to do is, what you'll see people doing is they're going to work the margins, because they made all those moves, and you mentioned it last segment, Rick. They made those moves with the cap because they had to get under the cap. Now you can just do a piecemeal. Hey, we have this opportunity. This guy, this was convert your deal. So, it'll be a slow trickle, but sometimes it's a huge swing that we don't see coming.
And they're $4 million under it. They can still create a lot of money. I mean, if they go to Foye, Hines Allen, Trevor, they can get what, $6-7 million a piece right there. So they you could post, release Eric Armstead, designation post June 1st, bring back 14.4 million. I mean, they can absolutely find money if they believe Hendrickson can help them immediately.
Yeah, and Lawrence is at a $2 million base salary, so that is very, that's what $700,000 to get down. But the ones you said is Oluokun and Hines Allen. Those are two ones. Hines Allen, I think, is more of a candidate because you see him here long term into the next couple of years, and so you can really massage the cap that way. Oluokun, okay, what's his future after this year? So I kind of like what they're doing in terms of they're not kicking the can too far down the road with guys who definitely won't be here next year. So, but yeah, this is going to trickle out with spot rack. Hey, this guy restructured. 2 days later, this guy pushed some money back forward. So, and that's what good teams have to do, and specifically good teams who inherited some really bad contracts from the previous regime.
As of this morning, Jacksonville was one of 4 teams, Seattle, Denver, and Philly. Those 3 may have added today, and I missed it. But one of 4 teams who did not bring in a player from another organization. They all won at least 11 games a year ago. Okay, is it the second wave? Do you see maybe a veteran back, maybe a veteran defensive tackle? What do you think the Jags do as far as adding someone off the street?
Yeah, and they will eventually. Just, okay, Rachaad White, he's probably saying right now, the Tampa Bay running back, the running back market developed pretty dang good yesterday in terms of money. Okay, maybe I should start talking to some other teams to just sort of wait it out a little bit, because even today you had Pacheco signing with agreeing with Detroit, I believe. So that I would add a veteran back, because it doesn't seem like the draft is the place to find a really good one right away. Then you talk about some of the other positions. There's going to be guys who fall through the cracks that are good players. There just wasn't enough money around to go to them. So the Jaguars can swoop in and say, hey, 13-4 last year, going in the right direction. Would you come in for the vet minimum, play a 1-year prove-it deal? And that's probably the direction they're going to go with some of these guys that are off the street.
I haven't confirmed this with anyone, but I see here from one of our listeners that the Eagles just signed Woolen from Seattle as a DB. So perhaps that just took place. All right. Hey, listen, good stuff. You notice I didn't bring up the Brian Thomas Jr. rumors.
Well, I appreciate that. What I will say is, if the Jaguars were not taking calls on Brian Thomas, they wouldn't be doing their job. I don't think they're actively shopping Brian, but I think they're actively listening, because that's their job. And if somebody offers you a first-round pick, then you have to have a meeting to say, okay, if we have that pick, can we pick his replacement? So to me, it seems like there's a little bit of smoke there, but I don't think it's serious.
Yeah, and it would have to be a great offer, because again, he's so cheap. A combined $4.9 million over the next 2 years.
Yeah, and let's say even if you don't pick up the 5th-year option, which is probably trending that way, you can get 2 years at a really bargain rate. At this time next year, you can trade him and get a mid-round pick for him, because somebody will say, hey, we'll be able to fix him. But Brian Thomas, if he's back, you got to show it, man. You got to show that you were the guy who you were 2 years ago, and not the guy that they lost trust in this past season.
No doubt about it. Ryan O'Halloran, columnist, Florida Times Union. Ryan, I'll see you over at the Players. Thank you.
Okay, Rick, thanks.
All right, there you go. Ryan O'Halloran, much more to do with you tonight till 8.
Get a Gator baseball chomp on 1010XL.
It's a Sunshine State Tuesday night treat in the Swamp. Number 20 Florida State and 23rd ranked Florida. Tonight at 7 on 1010 AM.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
You don't think this would be a good moment to text somebody?
There's never a bad moment to share your opinion on the 1010XL text line. Designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Share your opinion
As soon as possible.
at 641-1010.
After attending a Saturday Bumps and Bruises clinic by Southeast orthopedic specialist, my son's hip and shoulder issues were diagnosed quickly, and he's back playing. As a busy family, we really appreciate their prompt attention.
I've been having knee problems for probably 6 months, and I had heard about Southeast Orthopedics on the radio, and I gave them a call. They got me right in. Dr. Kevin Murphy did it. It was painless, and it's been doing fantastic.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hey, this is Lauren Brooks, and if you think Closets by Design is just closets, you've got to see their brand new showroom at Phillips & Emerson. It's amazing what they can do. See for yourself how they custom design organization for any space. Garages, laundry rooms, bedrooms, even the man cave. It's all about smart storage that fits your lifestyle and budget. Schedule an appointment to meet with a design consultant and tour the showroom for ideas you can see and touch. Start at closetsbydesign.com.
Frank Frangie here for Coil Fencing. Since 1927, Jacksonville has trusted Coil Fencing to protect what matters. And I trust them too. From tough chain link to your commercial project to sleek aluminum fencing your HOA will love, Coil does it all. Did you know that Coil can also install, service, and maintain those automatic gates that help protect your neighborhood or business? To schedule a complimentary consultation, visit CoilJacks.com. That's C-O-Y-L-E, Jacks.com. Coil Fencing, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental with light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, located in Bartram Park.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. Shoot your shot with Prize Picks and get $50 in lineups instantly when you play your first $5. That's right. Prize Picks is now giving you $50 in lineups when you sign up and play your first $5. Prize Picks makes every dunk, every dime, every board that much more exciting. Don't miss this exciting chance to get started on America's #1 app for sports picks. Prize Picks. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch your winnings roll in. And now Prize Picks has early payout. If your lineup is off to a hot start, you have the option to cash out before the game even finishes. At Prize Picks, how you play is up to you. You can choose Flex Play and get paid even if one of your picks misses, or Power Play for the biggest payout. And all Prize Picks withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. Download the Prize Picks app today, use promo code 1010XL, and get $50 in lineups instantly when you play $5 in lineups. That's promo code 1010XL to get $50 instantly in lineups when you play $5 in lineups. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
Do you want to grow your career with a company that's committed to growing with you? Florida Home AC has aggressive plans to double their workforce, and they're looking for determined, resourceful people with initiative. Just log on to FloridaHomeAC.com/careers to find out more.
Royal Pest Services, a local company you can trust. Royal Pest is a certified installer of tap insulation, which stands for thermal, acoustic, and pest control. Reduce that electric bill by adding pest protection. It's that easy. Online at RoyalPestServices.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
That's a baseline. Talk about baseline jumpers. Pete Smart. Who's your favorite bassist? Do you have one? With the music you listen, I know you're a jazz guy. You like hip hop. What's your favorite bassist, Aaron?
I don't know if I have a favorite one.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think I can say I can definitively say, oh, that's my favorite. I don't think I have one.
Man, I got a ton of them. John Paul Jones of Led Zeppelin. Certainly John Entwistle, the late John Entwistle of The Who. Sting from The Police. I love Adam Clayton. How can you not bring up Roger Waters, for crying out loud, of Pink Floyd? Other bassists who sing, Geddy Lee, right? Rush. Paul McCartney. You ever heard of the Beatles? Love the bass. Absolutely. All right, it has happened. $15 million 1 year for Woolen. He leaves Seattle on his way to Philadelphia. Wow. What a great deal. $15 million for 1 year. And, let me say this because this comes from experience, all right? Obviously not with the money, but when I left here and went to Chicago in 2000, I signed a 2-year contract. I signed after that 5 1-year contracts. And it's tough. At the time I'm married, I got my wife asking me about it all the time. You got a house, you don't know what's next. And, if you're worried about anything here, I have a lifetime contract at 92.5 FM. So I know some of you out there were wondering. But, yeah, that was the deal in Chicago. So if you have a 1-year deal, man, it's... Now, when you make it $15 million, okay, I mean, you don't have anything to worry about. At least I would assume you don't have anything to worry about. But, when you put a franchise tag on someone or you do pick up a 5th-year option or you do something like this, most aren't in favor of it. They want to secure 2, 3, 4-year deal.
Another one you may have missed, Caden Ellis, the linebacker for the Falcons. He signed with the Saints, so going over to his rival. Make things interesting over there. He's pretty good. He's fast, too. Real fast.
Rock Ya-Sin is going to the Lions. 1 year, $4 million. All right, so they just continue rolling. Teddy Bridgewater going to the Lions. Okay, where didn't he got in trouble for something stupid in high school, and after he got pinched for it, I think they changed the rule to exactly what he did. It was about raising money for his student. I don't remember exactly what it was, but he was a high school coach down south, and then he was brought back like very late in the season by Detroit. He's back for another year.
So he, the kids down there where he went to high school are not as, they don't have as much resources and stuff like that. And Teddy, being the nice, kind-hearted soul that he is, was helping them out of his own pocket. Well, can't do that. And he got suspended for it. They ended up losing to Range just this past up in the state championship, and they changed the rule to saying where you can now just say it's a certain amount of money, and I forgot the exact dollar amount, but they changed the rule just because of him. I think they called it the Teddy Bridgewater rule.
Yeah, but it cost him his gig, right? Was he suspended or was he flat out fired? I
think at first he was suspended, but he ultimately got replaced.
So imagine that get if in fact he was fired, you get fired for doing what they actually turn the rule to a lesser amount, but still a very similar situation. Anyway, good for Teddy. He's back.
There's also his alma mater where he went to high school, too.
Yeah.
That same place.
Was it St. Thomas Aquinas, or where was it down there?
No, it was, I'll have to look it. I forgot the exact name, but it said down in Miami.
So much good football down there. Yeah, Teddy Bridgewater. I remember him coming out and going to Louisville. They had a nice career there when they had really some great runs of quarterbacks. No question about it. All right, I've overshot the runway today. We've just been too busy. So let's make things up. We get another hour. It's going to include you and your thoughts as we go till 8 o'clock right here on Into the Night.
Now, another classic moment in Jags history.
Big play, 35 from the 16. Mark at the line of scrimmage. Takes the snap, turns, looking for Jimmy in the end zone. Touchdown, Jaguars! Touchdown, Jaguars! Touchdown, Jaguars!
Home of the Jaguars. 1010XL.
Yeah, I know how awful it is to get injured, but not like my friend Tom who got rear-ended last year. Tom McManus here. Morgan & Morgan can help you. They're the largest personal injury law firm in the nation. 1,000 lawyers, 100 offices across the nation, and over $30 billion recovered. And guess what? They don't get a single penny unless you do. A proven track record with backup. Hard to find these days, but not with Morgan & Morgan. For the people, that's right. Get injured due to someone's neglect, get paid. Dial Pound Law or check out forthepeople.com.
If your lawn took a beating this winter, listen up. Prosser here for Julington Creek Pest Control. They've just started the first of 3 rounds of premium granular fertilizer. No cheap liquid fertilizer here. Custom blended for Northeast Florida lawns. Their certified technicians apply slow-release nutrients. Rebuild your lawn thick, strong, and green over time. Plus, they protect your home from pests and termites. Call Julington Creek Pest Control today. Our family serving yours since 1984.
Beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. Hicken here. This is the perfect time to clean your air ducts as you deal with allergy season, AC efficiency, post-winter, and more. This month, take 15% off dryer vent cleaning and air duct cleaning. Clothes taking longer to dry? Built-up lint restricts airflow and increases fire risk. Professional dryer vent cleaning helps dryers run safer and more efficiently. Call Zero Res today. It's a quick service and a peace of mind. Go online at zerosjacksonville.com and tell them you want the 1010XL special.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Need or want cash? Beaches Jewelry and Pawn has cash available. Ready to buy guitars, surfboards, jewelry, firearms, tools, and especially gold. They need it all, selling or pawning. Get cash on the spot at Beaches Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and if you check out their showroom in the month of March, you're going to see some really cool rides.
We do. We've got this all-new Euro motorcycle going to be on display one day. We're having some demos. The next day, here with Sullivan, she's got some more detail.
March 11th, come down to Cycles of Jacksonville. We'll have the static day where you can see all of the machines. And then March 12th, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., we have demo rides. Come test drive your new Euro.
These things are cool. I've never seen it yet. All new Euro motorcycles. You're not going to want to miss it.
Check out Cycles of Jacksonville Facebook and Instagram.
Hey, gang, Prosser here for my friends Chad and Sandy. What are your concerns? What struggles do you anticipate when it comes time to sell your home? What is it that bothers you? What's keeping you from getting max money as quickly as possible? Well, I don't know what those reasons are because I know they're all silly. Because Chad and Sandy have one down-to-the-line guarantee. Your home sold guaranteed, or they will buy it. It'll be at a price and a rate that you agree upon beforehand. So if you need to sell now, fast, easy, stress-free, and you need max price, then you need Chad and Sandy. The government's making moves intended to push mortgage rates lower. The last time rates dropped, we saw a selling and buying frenzy. Now's the time to prepare. It's time to call Chad and Sandy. Darcy in San Jose did. I wanted to move to a more walkable, vibrant area. Within 3 days of working with Chad and Sandy's team, I found the perfect home. They do it stress-free with a guarantee. Go to chadandsandy.com or call 414-6200. That's chadandsandy.com.
It's tournament time, and Best Bet St. Augustine has a full lineup of poker tournaments this month. Don't miss daily no-limit hold'em tournaments with buy-ins ranging from $60 to our $160 6-hour Ironman on Fridays. And don't miss the exciting $300 no-limit hold'em St. Augustine Championship with a $100,000 guarantee from March 26th through the 29th. For more information, visit bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Of course, Roland Reach Plumbing has awards from Folio Weekly and the Bold City's Best. Now, Roland Reach is also confirmed as the Google Guaranteed Plumbing Service. Because when you do plumbing right, the word gets around. That's Roland Reach Plumbing.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, tomorrow at 4 o'clock, all 32 teams must officially have their rosters under $301.2 million. Again, it's an expanded salary cap under up $22 million from 1 year ago. Miami still has some work to do. Minnesota has work to do. Dallas, Baltimore, and Buffalo. So you have 5 teams right now that are in the red. The Vikings are supposed to really rip apart their defensive line. Jonathan Allen, Javon Hargrave. So, we'll see what ends up happening there. Pretty good names. Where are they at this point, in their career? We shall see. Jacksonville right now, presently, $4,138,000 underneath the salary cap. Talked about this earlier or late last week when they started to get deals done. I believe it was on Friday with Macari and Murray. And then certainly earlier on this week, and Ryan O'Halloran and I just touched upon it. Jacksonville has the wherewithal to create a lot of money. They really do. I mean, they could restructure Hines Allen. They could restructure Aloha Khan. They could and get $6 or $7 million apiece there. They could flat out cut Chuma Edoga and bring back $2.8 million. They could cut, and I should say release for both guys, Eric Armstead and bring back $14.4 million. They could trade Walker Little, create some cash. Granted, there'd be some dead money at the end of that deal. They could re-sign Trayvon Walker and create cash. So there's multiple ways to do it. And I think what you're witnessing is this football team right now, if they're involved with a high-priced free agent, the Trey Hendrickson rumors are out there. I'm surprised that they're out there. And, it's good that it's out there. Maybe it will raise the price, although he's way undervalued. He overvalued himself. He thought that he should be making Jalen Phillips money. Carolina, $30 million for the 27-year-old Jalen Phillips. The guy has 28 sacks in 5 years. And then, they give Devin Lloyd 25 guaranteed, 15 a year over the next 3. I think he may be playing out of position. This is scary. I'm glad he got his money. He's a good guy. Really like Devin Lloyd.
Can you blame Trey Hendrickson for wanting that much when they see Jalen Phillips gets that much from Carolina? I mean,
no, but I think realistically, he's 4 years older and he's coming off a major injury.
But before that injury, he's had nothing but production.
He had the most sacks in 2023, 2024 combined.
Yeah.
No doubt. But and I don't want to compare injury situations. Okay, it's unfair, but I'll do it anyway. Look at Eric Armstead after he got injured. Okay, Trayvon Walker wasn't 100% this year. These guys are tough, and they want to play, all right? And even if they're not 100%, they're going to do everything they can to get out there. No one's 100% late in the year. Man, I know that you can be a pass rush edge in your 30s and still be productive. There's a whole heck of a lot of names that are out there at edge that Jacksonville could make a run at. I'm just letting you know that you can absolutely create more money, but it doesn't make any sense to make any of these moves unless you're going to bring in a free agent. Because remember, whenever you restructure contracts, you're going to have to pay it back at the end of their deal. And Jacksonville's done it with 4 players. They've done it with Macari. They've done it with Murray. They've done it with Jordan Lewis. And, they did it this morning with Robert Hainsey. I've always been under the belief that this would be it for Hainsey. It was basically a 2-year deal, that Jonah Monheim would be your starter at center in 2027. Okay, that Wyatt Milam's going to find his way into the starting five this year. I could be dead wrong. I could absolutely be wrong. But it's the way I'm looking at it. I remember last year at this point, or after the draft, saying by 2026, could your starting linebackers be Ventrell Miller and Jack Kaiser? I've been under the impression forever that Devin Lloyd would not return, even after his sensational year. Foye Oluokun is so durable, and you look at his snap count, man, he plays all the time. Again, for Devin Lloyd, he only played 54% of the time on third and fourth down. You don't pay an off-the-ball linebacker $20 million a year who's had one good season and still played just slightly above 50% of the snaps on third and fourth down. Oluokun is always out there. I just think starting to show, maybe a step or two. It's just he's been wonderful. He's been a great football player. I think this is it. That's the way I'm going to say it. I don't think this is it for Josh Hines Allen. I think he's around for another 3-4 seasons. So he's probably the guy they're going to restructure. That would be my guess if they sign another big player. Sean Robinson now available in Carolina. So they're going to make a run at a defensive tackle like this if they do not, in fact, land Trey Hendrickson. I would still be surprised if they get Hendrickson, and I would be very interested in the deal. He's 31. It would have to be front-loaded where he's making a ton of money this year, and, you could get away with that with the signing bonus. Next year would probably be a cap number that is first or second on the team, maybe only behind Trevor, perhaps behind Josh Hines Allen, perhaps behind Trayvon Walker if they re-sign him to another deal. And then hopefully at year 3, you eat some dead money and you say goodbye. And I'm just saying that realistically because he's 31. He turned 31 in December, so he's going to play this entire season at 31. Actually, check that. Jaguar fans plan on going deep into January, maybe February. So he will be 32. This is great. This is why, and, I do less and less of this for a number of reasons. Okay. Number one, it's just not worth it. Okay. Number two, I really don't get in battles anymore because, the cancel culture is everywhere. They're just waiting for guys like me to slip up so they can send me packing. But this is something that I don't even know who this guy is. But this is what he put on Twitter. And again, I almost never do this anymore. Years ago, I used to get into it, particularly with Florida State people. I'd be so pissed. Now I'm over it. Listen, if you want my opinion on freaking Florida State, first win a game, and then I'll give it to you. And I'll give it to you right here on 92.5, not on freaking Twitter. Okay? So this guy's name is Bryce DeGroat. Do you ever heard of him? I know nothing about him. Okay?
No.
Do you know him? Bryce DeGroat. He's got a blue check. I'm saying he probably paid for that blue check.
Okay.
This is his comment. The Jaguars offseason so far lost Travis Etienne, lost Devin Lloyd, haven't added a single free agent. Oh, and they don't have a first-round draft pick. Not a good look, especially with the rest of the division only getting better. So I quoted it and wrote to him and said, another reason why not to listen to most who don't cover the Jaguars. This is hilarious. His bullet points are accurate, but he has no idea how this team has been rebuilt. Look what happened a year ago at this time. What did Jacksonville already have? 9 free agents? Then they go on to sign 12, 13 free agents. Okay? Added at least 10 more. If you look at the undrafted free agents with Strigow and Green and BJ Green, they changed almost half of their roster in one season. So this football franchise had to take the mistakes that were made by the former regime, completely change their roster. And they had to weed out those who don't love football, those who accepted losing, just the stench of losing. Okay? It was in the Miller Electric Center, and it's completely changed. And what did James Gladstone and Tony Baselli and what did Liam Cohen say to you, Jaguars fans, what they were going to do? Build the football team through the draft. Now, I know this is the other side of it. He comes from the Les Snead school of screw those draft picks. And Snead made another move, giving up a first rounder to Kansas City. Gladstone showed that he's got berries, right? If there's one thing you could say about James Gladstone, he's got berries. He gave up a future first-round draft pick to get Travis Hunter. Okay? But great football teams build through the draft. It's been very rare in these parts to have guys like Etienne and Lloyd leave who were drafted by this organization because they either A, couldn't afford to re-sign them, or B, they didn't want to re-sign them. And I don't think that applies to ETN at all. I think that's an honest situation that has been put on the table for Devin Lloyd. At his price, did they want him back? He's asking too much. He wanted $20 million a year. He got 15. Yeah, it's still good money. But I'm sure he was thinking 3 years, 60 million, 4 years, 80 million. He doesn't. He gets 3 years, 45 million, 25 million guaranteed. So again, there's idiocy outside of Duval when it comes to talking about this team. What did you expect? You knew it was going to be this way. They re-signed, if Buster had gone, then I'd hop in and get, I'd throw a haymaker. Everything's not perfect. I still can't believe they didn't run Bashal Tutin against Buffalo, okay? I mean, listen, when it's bad, it's bad. That's a major mistake. I have no problem with them going forward on fourth down. Those are the two things that bothered most Jags fans. Complete pass on going for it on fourth down because if they make it, it's never mentioned. I don't understand abandoning Tutin. I don't get that. But you knew going in that because of the former regime and making this guy doesn't write that they unloaded a bad contract in Tyson Campbell. Yeah, they have to eat $19.5 million because of it. Gabe Davis never should have signed here. What an awful contract. What a terrible contract. You're reading $14.6 million. So it's mistake after mistake after mistake. Walker Little never should have been extended. You had all of these mistakes. And by the way, I feel like I have to defend myself here. I'm not a freaking apologist. I'm just telling you the truth. Okay? And you get guys like this who know nothing. Oh, they haven't added. They don't have a first rounder. I can't believe they went. This guy doesn't know that Devin Lloyd was pedestrian for 3 years. And we were talking about who's going to win that job a couple of years ago. Chuma or Lloyd. Remember those conversations? Do you remember the whole month of August? Man, it was a battle between Ventrell Miller and Devin Lloyd as to who was going to win that job. And then Lloyd pulled away, and he ended up having a phenomenal season. Can't believe I just gave this guy that much credit. There are some very good national reporters who cover the Jags, who give their input on the Jags. But most outside of Duval who cover this football team, absolutely have no idea what they're talking about. And this is a perfect example.
The game's best golfers and one of the most beautiful courses in the world. Catch live Southeast Orthopedic Specialist leaderboard updates from the players, capped by Corona, Campione Law, and TopDressing.com on 1010XL.
The Players' Championship returns to TPC Sawgrass March 10th through 15th. Experience golf's most iconic stage with enhanced food and beverage offerings, interactive fan attractions, and an atmosphere built for every type of fan. See the best players in the world, including world number 1 Scotty Scheffler, 2025 champion Rory McIlroy, and fan favorite Brooks Koepka take on the legendary Stadium Course and the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com.
Yo, E.T. here. And you know that on the field, preparation wins championships, right? Well, the same goes for your health. Right here in my side of town in Fleming Island, Encore Research Group is helping locals take charge through cutting-edge research studies. Everything from weight loss to diabetes and hypertension. Their team of local, multi-specialty doctors is focused on advancing medicine and keeping our community healthy. If you want to see if you qualify, check them out at EncoreDocs.com.
Find out what it's like to live Florida Gators basketball with Gator legend Patrick Young.
They want Patrick Young.
Dan and Jeff team up for Time Out with Patrick Young, taken by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists and Kuhn Flowers. Friday morning at 8:30 on 1010XL.
Baloo here for Smunez Vision. Why Smunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smunez is fellowship trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmunezVision.com today. Here you can see.
In the game of vehicle performance and reliability, Atlantic Infiniti is always the top pick. This is Hayes Carlion. Did you know that every certified pre-owned Infiniti is inspected, factory-backed, with a limited warranty, and gets the same championship-level service as a brand-new Infiniti? Every mile will feel like first class. Check out their full certified inventory now at AtlanticInfiniti.com or visit Atlantic Infiniti off Atlantic near St. John's Bluff.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. What's better than beer? Cold beer. Put your company logo on a custom koozie. Check them out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
Hey, I'm Tony from Tony D's Pizza. People ask me all day long, is it the water that makes the difference? Well, yes and no. Even water can't make a good pizza. It's the ingredients, too. The best tomatoes, the best flour, and the best cheese. Oh, and a lot of love. Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
Ever notice how your floors still look dirty, even after you mop?
Yeah, what's up with that?
Swiffer Power Mop gives you a deeper clean you can actually see.
I'm listening.
Unlike string mops, Swiffer Power Mop absorbs more dirt and locks it away, even in those hard-to-reach spots.
Like behind the toilet?
Exactly. The new micro scrubbers deliver thousands of tiny deep cleaning actions, so your floors look, smell, and feel clean.
Bye-bye, dirty floors. Hello, Swiffer Power Mop.
Try the Swiffer Power Mop. Love it or your money back.
Winter is in full swing, and Aleve is here to keep you moving. When the cold weather sets in, everyday aches and pains can linger, but Aleve's got your back. With up to 12 hours of body pain relief per dose, Aleve keeps you going with long-lasting body pain relief to get you through whatever the season brings. Chilly days or cozy nights, Aleve gives you that long-lasting body pain relief you can count on this winter. Try Aleve. Use as directed for minor aches and pains.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, Aaron and I were just talking about Gabe Davis during the break. Back in 2024, he played 10 games, 20 of 42, 239 yards, 2 touchdowns. He went back to Buffalo late this year. I think when we think of Gabe Davis, we think of that incredible playoff game against Kansas City. But I tell you what, you look at his numbers, and this would take a lot of research. He's got to be consistently among the lowest percentage receivers when you look at receptions to targets. This is amazing. I'll give it to you in the 6 years real quick. Ready? 35 of 62. 35 of 63. 48 for 93. 45 for 81. Here in Jacksonville in 2024, 20 for 42. And this was by far his best, 12 of 18. Again, that takes some research. I don't know if that's ever been done. I mean, these could be missed throws. They could be drops. He's had good quarterbacks, too. He's had Josh Allen. And, I know Trevor was beaten up. Maybe there's some Mac Jones in there. But Mac actually, percentage-wise, was like over 70%. He had a much better pass percentage than Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I was looking at that contract that he signed back in
I remember when we were on air. That came in. Go ahead.
3 years, $39 million, 24 guaranteed.
Ugh,
and when they released him, the $20.3 million cap hit for the Jaguars. Just over 14 months he was here.
All of those signings were bad. Darnell Savage, $6,200,000. They're still eating. Listen, Aloakam was a good signing. Evan Ingram was a 1-year show me. That was a good signing. Christian Kirk was a good signing. Zay Jones was adequate. Who else am I? Obviously, it didn't work out with the three that we're getting into right now. Absolutely did not work out with Gabe Davis. Did not work out with Darnell Savage Jr.
Chark? DJ Chark?
Nah, he was a drafter. He was drafted here. Boy, I like DJ. He was a nice kid. But anyway, there's been a couple of good signings. I'm trying to see if there's anyone else on the team that really sticks out as a free agency signing that is still on this football team brought on by the former regime, right? And we went through the draft. Ezra Cleveland. They get Cleveland in a trade or they sign him straight up as a free agent. I actually forget that one. But, Aloakam and Eric Armstead, okay? I mean, I'll ask you, what have they gotten out of Eric Armstead? Certainly he played much better last year than he did the year prior to that. Things changed after his injury. I don't think anyone would argue with that. But we went through, at the end of the year, James Gladstone's free agency class. And granted, I'm a tough grader. I gave him a B-. A B-, in my opinion, is a very good grade in free agency. And I took into account the price tag. You can't base that grade, or at least I did not base the grade simply on their production. I based it on the amount of money that was spent. All right. To me, the two biggest busts were Patrick McCarry, who started a ton. And obviously right now they think that he's going to be able to turn that around because they converted his salary, to clear cap space where you could have just cut him. Right. The other one was Brown. Diami Brown was just, that just didn't work. There's no other way to say it. And I'm still very surprised by that. But outside of that, just about every other signing ended up being, a pretty good move for this franchise. Not to mention, making a trade for Josh Myers. Not to mention finding guys like Cole Van Lannon and paying him to a 3-year contract extension. I mean, that's an in-house guy that they found who had done a couple of different things, but certainly didn't produce anywhere near what he did this past year. I mean, he ended up playing every position but center. He played jumbo tackle, left guard, right tackle, and again, the jumbo tackle position.
Yeah, he did. Ezra Cleveland came over via trade back in 2024, exchanged for a 6th-round draft pick.
Thank you. There you go. So they had to do all this to build it. And again, the reason why I love listening to the Gladstone talk is that he he is transparent, but he believes in these ethics, right? He believes in character. And to me, I've always been, I don't mind a few dogs, man. I don't mind a few bad guys on my team, as long as they can play. There's nothing worse than a bad guy who can't play. You don't want Jared Odrick on your team. You don't want a turd. You don't want Julius Thomas on your team. You know, a guy who's going to take plays off, not run routes. Dante Moncrief, right? You don't want players, you don't want to overpay for Bryce Paup and have it not work out. You don't want to overpay for Nick Foles and then have him tell you to deal with trials and tribulations and be patient. What a moron. Nick Foles never looked at the history of the Jaguars. So he never, you know what, he had one opinion on the Jaguars. He watched them on film in the AFC Championship game. And I'm convinced that he formed his opinion with his people that, oh, that must be a perennial playoff team down in Jacksonville. I'll never forget. I don't know where they were on the road. When he started making those comments, I just started shaking my head like, man, you are an idiot. You throw one pass, you're out, you're injured, you come back, and then you're telling the Jaguars fans to be patient? Trials and tribulations. Freaking hilarious. Big, thick Nick. Thick in the brain, Nick Foles. Others may say other things as far as his nickname. I honestly don't remember what it was. All right, we got much more to do. We do tonight till 8. Let's grab some of your questions on the other side.
You know Dan Hicken.
Keep it simple, stupid.
And you know Jeff Prosser.
Let's talk about this plan of yours. I think it's good, except it sucks.
Mornings on the Drill.
So let me do the plan, and that way it might be really good.
On 1010XL.
Yo, Harvey, Zoe, group selfie.
Ooh, nice new iPhone 17, Drewski.
Let's do a triangle formation. I'm in front.
With a center stage front camera, everyone fits in the shot.
He got it at T-Mobile.
But switching takes forever.
Not anymore. Now you can switch to T-Mobile in just 15 minutes.
Focus, people. Nail your pose.
And you get a new iPhone 17 on them.
No way.
Yes way.
No way.
Yes way, guys. Switch to T-Mobile and get iPhone 17 on us. And right now, we'll pay off your old phone up to $800.
I'm grabbing my phone and switching to T-Mobile right now.
Get back, Harvey. We're taking a... let's go again, y'all.
With 24 monthly bill credits, finance agreement, 256 gigabytes, $830, eligible trade-in, example iPhone 13, and new qualifying line, $60 plus per month plan with autopay plus taxes and fees. For well-qualified customers, plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. $800 via virtual prepaid card. Card typically takes 15 days after rebate submission. No cash access and card expires in 6 months. Check out in 15 minutes per line. Visit T-Mobile.com.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay and Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Mike Dempsey. If you're thinking about a bathroom upgrade, maybe turning that old tub into a safer walk-in shower, check out 5 Star Bath Solutions. I shopped around, talked to several companies, and I chose 5 Star because their customer service was simply incredible. Responsive, honest, upfront about the entire project, and their pricing was even better than expected. When you're ready for a fresh look, better comfort, and a bathroom space you'll love using every day, schedule your free consultation at 5starbathsolutions.com and get the 5-star experience.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk, next level. And the stakes, oh, those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
This is Paige, owner of Awaken 180 Weight Loss. People ask me all the time what's healthy. And that's hard because healthy is different from losing weight. And I think that's where a lot of people struggle. There are a lot of foods out there that are healthy foods, but they're not going to support your weight loss. And that's what we're here to help with. We're here to help you get in the healthy foods that are going to help you lose weight. The Awaken 180 difference is our coaches. It's our team. You can find things online about weight loss, but you try them yourself and they just don't work. And that's because everyone is different. And that's what our coaches are so skilled at helping you figure out.
Thanks, Paige. Hacker here. Figuring it out? That's what I needed. And the reason I chose Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Not a med, not a diet plan. I wanted a solution. Do what I did and make a 180 with your health and weight. Schedule your Awaken 180 consultation today. Call 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800 or awaken180weightloss.com.
Kubota keeps the job site running smoothly with the #1 selling compact excavator lineup in the world. Reliable, capable, and backed by strong dealer support. Stop by today to power up your crew. Right now, bring home select Kubota excavators with 0% financing available or save up to $4,800. Now through March 31st. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Visit Coastal Equipment in Jacksonville and McClenny to reach your North Florida Kubota Superstore.
Did you know that an annual coating inspection can extend the life of your building by years? Catching early signs like hairline cracks, fading, and moisture intrusion helps prevent costly repairs down the road and keeps your property looking its best. Our team at Performance Painting helps you stay ahead of maintenance with professional inspections and long-lasting coating solutions. Protect your building, protect your budget. Go to performance-painting.com to schedule a free inspection. Performance Painting, repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting. 1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
And we go straight to New York City, where it all began for Geno Smith. His return is in with the New York Jets. Remember, he started there in 2013. For those of you scoring at home, okay? And if you are scoring at home, congratulations. Geno Smith, $58.5 million and a third-round pick is what the Raiders gave him for 15 games. They now get a seventh-rounder in return with the New York Jets. All right, Jaguars have not done anything today. They did restructure the contract of Robert Hainsey. They have cleared another $4 million. There are rumors out there involved with Trey Hendrickson. We've addressed those. There are what I would term bogus rumors out there with Brian Thomas Jr. We have barely acknowledged them. Okay? So if there is a trade and he's involved, you can hammer me. I can't see it. Let's get some questions from you. 4990. But didn't Gene Simmons play his bass? He's obviously one of the greatest. He did. I was talking about great bass. Listen, I love a ton of basses. I love Michael Anthony and Van Halen. Just goes on and on and on and on. Blue Lemmy and Phil Lynott both played bass, right? Motorhead and Phil Lynott, the original Irish band out of Dublin. That would be Thin Lizzy. 4107 Blue, you're right about Devin Lloyd. For 3 years, he completely disappeared. Kind of wish they re-signed E.T. unless they're going to use one of the third-round picks for a running back. I think they got two young backs, man. I'm big on Bashal Tutin. My guess right now is they, do add a Rashard White or Sean Tucker or someone like that. Maybe let the market settle a little bit. I mean, some decent money was thrown around yesterday to Rico Dowdle, Kenneth Walker III, and J.K. Dobbins, who re-signed outside of ETN. Remember, Javonte Williams re-signed a few weeks ago as well. Pretty affordable cash there. 7130. Blue, any word on a Walker Little trade or restructure? No. I don't know if we would be privy to that, right? I'm sure you have to take the call. It's just like a Brian Thomas Jr. deal. They have to listen. This team's not going to give up Brian Thomas for, a fourth-round pick. That all changes if perhaps they say, we're offering a first-round pick. And, right now I'd be shocked if a team offered a first round. But you have to listen. For Walker Little, I don't know what they're going to do. It's wide open. You can make the case he's going to be your starting left tackle. You can make the case he's going to be your starting right guard. Or you can make the case that he won't be here. I would love to know what money you would have to eat in the future. I'll say this about Walker Little. You can never have enough offensive linemen. Trading Walker Little for a 7th-round pick and then eating a bunch of dead money, whether it's this year or next year, I would assume it's next year because I'm looking at the Tyson Campbell situation that was a trade. But Campbell's deal happened in season. Again, I don't know how that stuff works. I've tried to get, in depth as much as I can, contractually speaking. But there still are deals that throw me for a loop. But with your contract, is there a station opt-out? Absolutely. There is. You can fire me at any point. 69-23. I was kidding earlier. I said I have a lifetime contract here at 92.5. April's our 19th year officially? I came back to the Toaster for like 5 or 6 months when we had a little bit of a delay getting things started because it's been almost 20 years. But I guess here would be 19 in Jacksonville. Yeah, because I was talking about the 1-year deal that Woolen signed in Philly. He gets $15 million over 1 year. And, most people you just hired. I know that there's a percentage of people you work contractually, and some of it is on a job, right? If you're a subcontractor, you'll put together a gig. But if you're someone who comes to the office every day or what it may be, you could sign a 1, 2, 3, 4-year contract, right? We only really talk about contracts when it comes to sports. But I will say this. When I left here and went to Chicago, again, I signed a 2-year deal, and then I signed 5 consecutive 1-year contracts. And for the amount of money I was making there compared to the amount of money you're making here, there's pressure. There's pressure from family members. There's pressure. Are you going to resign? Are you staying? Are you picking up? Are you leaving? So there's some people out there that are under contracts like that. And for them, it can be trying. Tennessee, within the division, this just in, they signed former 49ers defensive tackle Jordan Elliott, a 2-year, $8 million deal worth up to $8.5 million. That is according to his agent. So Tennessee and Indianapolis have both been really active. I mean, Houston got the Danielle Hunter deal done. They've obviously changed around that offensive line. They've brought in 2. They've traded 2 on that offensive line. Who's the other guy they brought in today? Was it from Indianapolis? Let's see. Yes, it's Braden Smith, offensive tackle. 2-year deal, $25 million, $13.5 million guaranteed. So he goes within the division from Indy to Houston. We had Arden Key go from Indy to Tennessee, right? Or Tennessee to Indy. So he's been Jacksonville, Tennessee, Indy, the former mayor, the guy who had the key of the city, the great Arden Key. Still one of my all-time favorite guys to interview. No question about that. Do we have a score on that Florida State-Florida baseball game? Last I saw it was 2-0 Good Guys. Hey, Baloo, you're on the home of the Gators, so when you say Good Guys, you're talking about the Gators, right? Wrong. I'm talking about the Noles. Up 2-0. But we'll see. A lot of baseball left. No doubt about that. All right. Hacker's going to join you in 15. Tomorrow night's going to be a blast because we're also going to preview the Players' Championship. And, I'm getting more and more going back and forth with this guy about the 5th major and, replacing the PGA Tour. or the PGA Championship is a fourth major. Well, I'll say that honestly, that was more of the discussion when I was here the first time in the mid to late 90s. And also when I got back, I almost never hear that chatter anymore. It was much more, and this, you'd love to have it, but it's still a great event. And, it's starting to get a little bit more, in my opinion, like you see in Phoenix, where a lot of it is like a fraternity party. Okay. And I'm not one who is opposed to that, but it's stadium golf. There's not a bad seat in the house. But you want to entertain yourself? Just walk up to someone randomly and say, "Can you tell me who's on the green?" They won't know. "Can you tell me who's on that tee box?" They won't know. And that happens everywhere. I remember going to the what was the hell of that tournament called in Silvis, Illinois? Not the Greater Milwaukee Open, but was it the John Deere Classic, maybe? I think that's it. Man, it was like 100 degrees in suburban Chicago. And Tiger was playing. And I remember I went up to like 6 or 7 dudes because I was with my wife at the time and I had babies and strollers. And I just needed to know, is Tiger hitting the second or third? I swear to you, I asked 7 different people. They had no idea. I don't know. So people go to these golf events. I mean, it's a party. That's what it really is. And I think they've accepted that at the Players' Championship. I do. Also, final thought before tomorrow night. Stop trying to force the name on the closing 3 holes. The Gauntlet. People don't refer to it as the Gauntlet. It's okay not to have a name. Right? You got one of the easiest par 5s in, big time PGA Tour events on 16. The gimmick on 17, which, like you, I love, but it's a gimmick. And then one of the toughest holes on 18. That's one of the close. And I remember 10, 12, I don't remember what year it was, but I asked Jim Furyk, I said, what are, as far as courses here, what is the toughest 3-hole closing golf course? And he went to Charlotte. He went to Carolina. Said, absolutely. 16, 17, and 18 there in North Carolina. All right, final thoughts coming up. We'll get you ready for Hacker. He joins you at 8.
Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
Get ready for spring turkey season at Green Acres Sporting Goods. Find shotguns trusted in the field from Browning, Beretta, and Benelli. Plus, the newest bows are ready to test shoot from Hoyt and Matthews. For over 55 years, Green Acres Sporting Goods has helped Northeast Florida hunters gear up with confidence. Stop by Green Acres today at the corner of Normandy and Hammond Boulevard, or shop online anytime at greenacresporting.com.
The Players' Championship returns to TPC Sawgrass March 10th through 15th. Experience golf's most iconic stage with enhanced food and beverage offerings, interactive fan attractions, and an atmosphere built for every type of fan. See the best players in the world, including world number 1 Scotty Scheffler, 2025 champion Rory McIlroy, and fan favorite Brooks Koepka take on the legendary Stadium Course and the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com.
Spring is almost here. Is your yard ready? Lucas Tree Service, a family-owned business with over 45 years of experience, is your local certified arborist for tree removal, trimming, and stump grinding for residential or commercial properties. Protect your home, boost your curb appeal, and get top-notch service from a Jacksonville company. Make sure your trees are healthy and safe before summer hits. Schedule your tree inspection today at lucastreeservice.com.
Hey, it's Brent with Arcosa Crushed Concrete. If you've got concrete or asphalt rubble on your site, let me buy it from you, and I will recycle it into construction material for your future projects. Arcosa Crushed Concrete. Get paid for what you don't need.
Pages in your mailbox right now.
Did you know there's local savings sitting in your mailbox right now? Money Pages is packed with real coupons from your favorite local businesses. Save money at restaurants like Al's Pizza, on pet care at Forever Vets, and on entertainment for the whole family at the Alhambra Theater. Plus, make sure to download the Money Pages app for savings on the go.
Pages in your mailbox right now.
Firehouse Subs is adding a new heavy hitter to the roster, the Chicken and Cheddar Rancher. Grilled chicken, melted cheddar, crispy bacon stacked high with fresh toppings and creamy buttermilk ranch. The Chicken and Cheddar Rancher, only at Firehouse Subs.
At G&H Tires and Service, the G stands for great pricing. The H, well, that means honest service. For over 20 years, Roger and his team have helped Jacksonville drivers stay safe on the road. Need brakes, oil change, AC not blowing cold? Well, how about a super affordable $36 oil change? Affordable brake jobs, AC checks before summer hits, alignments for all these construction roads, and even free check engine light inspections. Locally owned, community driven. G&H Tires and Service on Beach Boulevard.
Which school won the first NCAA men's basketball championship?
When your homeowner's insurance policy is up for renewal, it's a good idea to shop around to find a better plan. Southern Oak Insurance for over 20 years provides Floridians a clear option. SouthernOak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
The Oregon Ducks won the first NCAA men's basketball championship in 1939. They defeated the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Southern Oak Insurance, our family protecting yours.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about not looking at the rearview mirror of unforgiveness. It's so easy to keep looking in the past when someone has hurt or offended us. What we don't realize that if we keep looking at the rearview mirror of anger, it will cause us to miss out on the good things that God has in store right in front of us. Friends, looking in the rearview mirror of the past will never give you peace in the present.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
Here's a little secret to why I've been married for over 25 years. Kuhn Flowers. High Flying Jacko here. Yeah, that's correct. When I need to send some love to my bride, I don't wait for an anniversary or her birthday. I just simply go to kuhnflowers.com.
Southwest Greens is the OG of artificial turf in North Florida. Stop mowing and start chipping or putting or just relaxing with a beautiful backyard, maintenance free. Log on to southwestgreensofjacksonville.com to see what they can do to your backyard.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
All right, Hacker Nation is there, or should I call you Coach? Coach Green.
That was actually was Coach Hacker. That's what was funny is go to Coach Hacker. One of the T-ball coaches couldn't make it tonight, so I stepped into coaching duty from the last hour and a half. That was a good time, man. One of the kids, actually, my man Lucas, said, Coach, you're a lot of fun when we were leaving the field. So it made me feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
Well, I feel warm and fuzzy as well, but I just have to know, was there a parent who said, why isn't my kid playing shortstop?
Well, luckily it was just practice, and I was working on their throwing and they're getting the ball to first base in time. We were going through fielding and throwing drills tonight. So.
All right. Today, not a lot of news for Jacksonville. They redo the contract of Robert Hainsey and clear another $4 million. The Hendrickson situation is still out there lingering a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be stunned if they signed Trey Hendrickson. I mean, they just don't seem like they want to spend a lot of money, and I don't blame them. They got so much dead money, and they're trying to get their cap in order to think that, I mean, Trey Hendrickson's going to want $25, $30 million a year. Jalen Phillips got 30. Yeah. You look at what Daniil Hunter just signed for, $40 million. Yeah. Now, Hendrickson's 31. He's got to be realistic, but he's not going to be any more realistic than 25 per. And I can't imagine Jacksonville would do that when they didn't have any desire whatsoever to spend $13 a year on ETN or $15 a year to match Devin Lloyd.
Yeah, I would think a lot of organizations would like to try to make that incentive laden. But you're right. I mean, his asking price, I mean, there's apparently a $10 million difference in what he's asking for and what is being offered. $10 million a year. You never hear unless it's maybe a quarterback, you never hear of anything that's $10 million.
No, and if you're Hendrickson, you got to ask for that because, again, you saw what Jalen Phillips got, who has an ACL in his past. You saw what Danielle Hunter got. You saw what these young defensive ends are getting. You would be doing yourself a disservice to not ask for it. Now, he may not get it, and him and his agent may have to bring the price down. But, yeah, it looks like this thing may last for a little bit. And then the Brian Thomas Jr. stuff, I'm happy that was kind of squashed a little bit. I actually went on a radio station in Kansas City. They were asking me, would you take number 40 for Brian Thomas Jr.? No, I wouldn't. Now, if you want to give me 29 and maybe a second or a third next year, we might talk. But the Jaguars are not trading Brian Thomas Jr., and I'm happy Schefter came out with that report that, again, probably squashed a lot of those rumors.
All right, what else is coming up tonight?
So we're going to do a lot of that. I'm going to ask Jaguar fans flat out, are they worried? Are they concerned? 2 days in, not a lot of activity going on here in Jacksonville as far as free agency. Also, Mark Wise of ESPN previewing the SEC tournament and the Florida Gators' chances at a number 1 seed on Selection Sunday.
Yeah, how crazy is that? The SEC deep into it tomorrow, the ACC underway, and the Noles play tomorrow. I guess it's Cal. It's 7 o'clock. When are the Gators pushed back to Thursday,
Gators
right?
play Friday.
Oh, right. Yeah. I know they got a bye.
You got the double bye because there's 16 teams now. That's what's crazy. The ACC tournament actually started today, like 2 o'clock. Some teams won't even play till Thursday night. They got so many teams in these conferences now. These tournaments are lasting 5 and 6 days.
We're up against it. To get that 1 seed in Tampa, what do you figure? Just 1 tournament win get you there?
I think 1 tournament win does it. 2 assures it.
Yeah.
They're going to be in Tampa regardless, either as a 1 or a 2. You'd like to get the 1, win Friday night. I think they're a 1 seed.
All right, Hack. Have a fun show. That's going to do it for us. Thank you to Ryan O'Halloran, columnist from the Florida Times-Union, for joining us. How great is tomorrow going to be with all those college hoops? And, again, Noles tomorrow, Gators Friday. Noles actually tomorrow night. The Gators on Friday, but plenty of hoops ongoing. I think we have 9 teams that have already punched their ticket into the NCAA tournament. Plus, the very latest from the players. I'll be out there tomorrow. I'll have plenty there. And, hey, will the Jaguars make a move? Remember, rosters have to be set by 4 o'clock on Wednesday. The Jaguars, $4.1 million under the cap right now, which is good news. My name is Rick Ballou. For Aaron Williams, our producer, a quick reminder, you can always get us on 92.5 FM, the station. You can also download the app. That's 92.5.